Hey everybody, Sourdough here. Today, before we start the show, I want to tell you about our upcoming conference, the Not Real Art Conference on March 16th here in LA. It's a one-day learning event for artists to come together and learn, share, network, and grow. We're going to talk about protecting your IP, licensing your IP, and pitching your IP to Hollywood. Tickets are right now at $100. We got some great speakers, experts, artists talking. We got Human, we got Logan Hicks, we got Jorge Gutierrez, of course we got your boy Man One, and we've got experts from Hollywood and New York coming to talk about the law, talking about pitching to Netflix, all kinds of exciting stuff. So go to notrealart.com to get your tickets today. Thanks so much. Now let's start the show.
Hello, this is Siri and you're listening to my favorite podcast, Not Real Art. I live for this shit cause it's totally lit.
Welcome to Not Real Art, Siri's favorite creative culture podcast with your boy Man One.
And Sourdough chilling there across from me. What up?
What up, Man One? It's good to have you back, brother.
You know, I was on a sabbatical.
Yeah, man, I got to say, as you know, I've had to do a couple of these without you, and it's just not the same, my friend.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine.
You got some big shoes to fill, and most people cannot fill them. Of course, I won't, go into why you have big feet or what that means, but just know that you are truly one of a kind. No one can sit in that seat the way you do.
Oh, yeah. I know. It's cool. I'm okay with that.
As well, you should be. You're like, that's why it's Man 1, not Man 12.
Yeah. Man 13s, actually. I'm 13s.
Hey, 13th.
Yeah. So.
Oh, man. Fantastic. Well, how have you been? What's been going on? You've been busy.
Oh, man. I mean, it's a lot's been going on. Just, really thankful for all the work that I've been getting lately. Some really great projects, some which I cannot divulge at this moment.
Ooh. Have to kill me if you tell me.
Yeah. No, I mean, just a lot of good projects, private commissions, murals, paintings. I mean, one of those moments where, there's really a lot of stuff that I had to put on the back burner, projects that I've been working on or wanted to do or promised people I'd do, and just had to put them on the back burner because there's too much going on, and money comes first.
More money, more problems.
The bigger the budget, the further up the chain you get.
Oh, yeah.
On my list. But yeah, no, it's going good. And so,
So let this be a lesson to those clients on the back burner. You throw a little sugar on top. Maybe you get bumped up.
Well, some of these projects are projects that I've been working on almost pro bono, if not pro bono. And, they know, these clients know, and these people know that, hey, I'll get to it when I can, and I'll do it when I can, but I can't promise you a timeline on it.
What is the criteria by which you choose to do something pro bono?
Usually, honestly, it's when it's working with kids. So most of the time it's, a community mural, some project where I'm doing something like that with kids and I'm not charging them my full rate, or like I said, I'm doing it for free. A lot of those times they don't have all the parts set up either. Like, we don't know where the paint's coming from. They still have to get approvals, blah, blah, blah. So it's not like they're just waiting on me. But, sometimes it happens and I just have to put that on the back burner for, obvious reasons. But, I'll get to it when I get to it. So I guess it's a good problem to have,
Feast or famine, right?
Yeah, it is. It's been doing it all these decades now, and it's still a feast or famine, type of career.
Although, but wait a minute, I thought being an artist was sexy and glamorous and
super sexy. Yeah, I mean, luckily the gap between, not having work and having work is a lot shorter now.
Yeah. We think about all the investments, right, that you've made over the years, investments in primarily, your brand, building awareness, getting out there hustling,
Right.
networking, being very conscientious, being professional,
right?
Not burning bridges,
right?
Staying above the fray.
Well, that never stops.
Right.
You're constantly doing that, putting yourself out there, and you're constantly building bridges, constantly meeting new people. I think what changes over time is that you're able to meet people at a higher level. You're able to meet, as the more you got under your belt, kind of the bigger, clients you get to meet and work with who have bigger budgets, who have, sometimes bigger visions. and help further your career a lot quicker, you know? So yeah, I'm very grateful to be in that point of my career right now, you know?
For sure, for sure. Well, it just dawned on me, like, given the date, this is kind of like our holiday special,
Oh yeah.
this episode.
Right, it is.
This is our holiday special. So, happy Hanukkah to our Jewish brothers and sisters. Merry Christmas to our Christian brothers and sisters. Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa to our African brothers and sisters. And what are Muslims celebrating right now?
I don't know. I just say happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Okay, good.
Because there's too
Wait a
many
minute,
people.
but that's so not Christian. Like you're going to take Jesus right out of the holiday.
Yeah, you know?
It's crazy, right? I can't believe it's Christmas already. I can't believe it's the holiday. Where did the year go?
Where did the year go? 2018. It's almost over.
It was a crazy ride this year.
Yeah, every year it's a crazy ride. So I guess it's...
What looking back on your year, what's like the first highlight that comes to mind that you look back on the year and you feel really good about?
It feels like a year ago. Oh, man. Well, I'm just trying to think of what I don't even remember what the projects were that, like, I literally have to look at my blog or something to figure out what the hell I was doing earlier this year. But I know that one of the cool things about this year, as opposed to other years, is that a lot of my calendar was already filled up, like, last December.
Nice. Right.
And that doesn't always happen.
Right.
You know, we had a lot of projects with the LA Library for the LA Made series. I had a bunch of things on the calendar for the different library conferences I was doing across the country.
Yep.
I had like 3 art commissions that I had first quarter. So yeah, that's cool when that happens, because sometimes you go in the holidays and the whole time you're stressed, worried about, okay, when this is over, when it's the new year, what am I going to do? What do I have going on?
Yeah.
And I remember years when I didn't know what I was going to do January 2nd. And obviously between now, basically before Christmas and after New Year's, those 2-3 weeks, like there's no business going on. You can't reach out to new clients or whatever. It's kind of a dead zone. And so you just have to ride with whatever you got or whatever you're doing,
For sure.
And as an artist, you don't have, my wife, is going to take 2 weeks off or whatever, but she still has her payday.
Yep.
She still has her check coming through at the end of the month or whatever. But as an artist, you don't have that luxury, and you get paid when you get paid. So,
well, question for you.
Yeah.
So historically, as I recall, each year, each holiday, Christmas holiday, you typically have a promotion, sale, holiday shop,
party.
pop up in your studio.
Right.
And historically, those have always been a lot of fun, but B, a great time to get good deals on Man One related merchandise and artwork and products of various types. So are you doing that again this year?
So I'm not going to do that this year.
Wow, things are flush.
Which I'm kind of bummed about though, because
just no time. You probably don't have any time to make it happen.
it was either go to Miami, to Art Basel.
Wait, you were in Miami?
Yeah. Wait,
I was in Miami.
Or throw a party. Yeah, there you go. It's been an annual holiday party at my studio for the last 4 or 5 years. And this year I'm going to not do that. Just a number of reasons, but number one, just no time. And another reason is I have a really big project coming up starting the new year.
Okay.
And I have to rearrange the studio to be ready for that.
Yeah.
And so it just doesn't make sense to do it. So what I've opted to do as in lieu of my holiday party that I usually do, I'm posting stuff online, on social media, and just letting people, just show them what's available in the studio and they can grab it or whatever. But the other thing I'm doing is I have a bunch of like clothing, like t-shirts and stuff like that that I've had forever. I mean, I'm talking about literally trash cans full.
Like old stock stuff, like,
overstock from, old stock that I've had even since the gallery
I think they
days.
call it dead stock or
Dead
whatever.
stock.
Right.
But they're perfectly
brand new stuff.
brand
Which is
new
insane.
t-shirts
Right.
there's no way I'm going to sell them or whatever. So I decided this year I'm going to give them away.
Nice.
And so we're getting that put together right now in the studio, and probably going to just go, maybe, I don't know if I'm going to go to some kind of, I'll see where I'm going to actually give them away. It might be during some of the events they have down there in Skid Row.
Right. Or
Or it might be for some other kind of events, or I might just go down there and just or different places and give them out.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, but just gonna get rid of a lot of stuff and give a bunch of brand new
You
clothes.
could
to
have
people.
brought mine with you today,
Yeah, I could have, but
you didn't.
I didn't.
But you didn't.
No. Yeah.
Tell you what, I should be used to you forgetting me by now. How many years it's been?
Yeah, you should be.
Which, by the way, I haven't forgotten. I still owe you money.
Oh, you do?
Well, I'm thinking about it. Don't I owe you money for those sticks that you picked up for me?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So I do. Anyway, sidebar. I'm not trying to stiff you on that. I probably could have given it to you in Miami when I saw you there, but we were too busy drinking.
We were too busy having a good time.
Yeah, man. How about that Miami? How about that Art Basel?
Art Basel, man. That was fun. I had a good time. I don't know. Did you have a good time?
I definitely had a good time.
It was pretty interesting, right? Because we were both there, but, you were in Little Havana,
Mm-hmm.
and I was on the beach, in South Beach. So,
Boy, were you
yeah, it
right
was.
there in the thick of it.
In the thick
In
of
the
it.
thick of it, and I use that word very specifically.
One of the greatest places to people watch, according to my wife.
It's thick with people
Yeah, it was
watching.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Ocean Drive is
It's by the ocean, isn't it?
Ocean Drive in Miami is definitely one of the spots to be at. Definitely one of the spots to be at. But yeah, man, I mean, it was a good time.
So what took you there?
So I had an opportunity to do an exhibition, a group show, really, just at this at the National Hotel.
Beautiful building, beautiful hotel.
Yeah, it's a fucking beautiful, hotel.
Oh.
And so a friend of mine was curating the show at Eddie Bojart. I gotta tag him.
You had a shout out.
Shout out to Eddie.
What up, Eddie?
For bringing us out there. But yeah, I mean, it was just a cool little show. It was really just a reason to get out there, It was just an excuse to get out there.
Don't tell my wife that.
Yeah. Well, I talked to her. She's gonna go next year. She said.
Damn. I mean, good.
She didn't say she was gonna go with you. She said she was gonna go. But yeah, it was like that was kind of like one of the reasons to go out there. Another reason was I got a call from Telemundo a couple weeks before Art Basel, and they wanted to do an interview with me. And once they found out I was going to Miami, they said, "Well, why don't you do it in the studio?"
Sure.
I said, "Yeah, it's better than a Skype interview."
Yeah, right.
So I got to go in the studios on Telemundo.
Not that they would have done a Skype. I mean, they would have had you go into the LA studio, right?
No, it was going to be Skype.
So they really wanted you to do the interview out of Miami.
Well, Telemundo is based out of Miami.
Yes, but they have studios here, right? In LA?
But they're local Telemundo.
Got
like
it.
The Channel 52.
Okay.
This is the national.
Got it.
Big time.
Okay.
And yeah, so it was cool because it was broadcast live on the Friday of Art Basel. And
what was the catalyst for that interview? Was your painting there at Art Basel? Like, why did they want to interview you initially? Besides you just being
they told me
rad guy.
They told me that they were just looking for different artists, Latino artists that were doing things because in what's going on, obviously politically within the country, they wanted to start injecting some feel good stories and some positive things that Latinos are contributing, to this country, especially in the arts.
Yep.
And so they wanted to start, or they have already interviewed other artists and do these little spots on them. And they researched and found me and, wanted to do, to highlight
That's awesome.
me.
Yeah.
So I was, of course, down to do it. And yeah, I mean, it got it. I mean, it was literally national because, I mean, right after it aired, I mean, I started getting texts and emails and calls and things. It was pretty funny.
That's great. So when exactly did you get, as I recall, you got into Miami, was it Friday morning?
I got in like Thursday night
late, and then you had the interview Friday.
And then I had the interview Friday, right? Which is crazy because I was totally jet lagged. Just,
Sure.
But yeah, so it was cool. It goes so fast in Miami. I mean, Miami is just
dude, and we got there on the backside.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the VIP openings and whatnot had happened like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever.
Yeah,
and I showed up Thursday morning.
Right.
You showed up Thursday night.
Yeah.
We left on Monday.
Yeah.
And we still only skimmed the surface of what the hell was happening there.
It was too much.
It's too much.
It's too much. I know what it's about, right? Like, I get it. I'm not trying to go there to... I mean, there was a point, I guess, when people used to go out there thinking, oh, I'm going to be discovered. Oh, if only, someone's going to see my work or, I'll get the big gig that I've been waiting for. And I mean, that's... Sure, it could still happen, I'm sure. But, for me, it's just like everyone's there. It's a good opportunity to see what everyone else is showing and producing and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, just have a good time.
Yep.
Like I was just like going to go have a good time and talk to people I haven't seen in a long time. Met up with a lot of artists that I hadn't seen in years. Also galleries and directors and curators. But yeah, it was hella fun. But you only get to do a few things, And then mind you, I'm traveling with my wife. Of course, I love my wife, but I can work with a lot less hours of sleep than she can.
Right, sure.
She needs more sleep than I do.
You're conditioned to live without sleep.
Yeah, she even told me one night, she's like, how the hell do you do it? How do you keep going? Does your body just give out? I'm like, well, yeah, that's called the plane ride back home. That's
right.
You time
that's what
yourself.
that's for.
Yeah, that's what you time it for. You time your body so that, okay, I'll collapse on the plane.
Right.
So, it's already hard to see everything as it is. But then, when you're traveling with your partner, then, there's things she wants to do or wants to see. And that's a different pace than I would do it if I was by myself.
Sure.
But we had a lot of fun. And
I think you scored major brownie points,
I hope so. I don't know.
Taking your better half with you. I mean, I saw her. It looked like she was having a blast.
Yeah.
Looked like, she was really loving you for making that extra effort.
Well, here's the thing. If she wouldn't have been on that trip, okay, there's no way I would have ate at the really great restaurants that we ate at. There's no way. There's no way I would have been dropping hundreds of dollars at these really nice, restaurants. And we did that like every night,
Yeah, you definitely spoiled her.
Yeah. So, we went to Wynwood and I told her, look.
When I hang with you, you never take me to restaurants like that.
No, I never do. And I told her, like, wear comfortable shoes because we're going to be walking. Like
a lot of walking.
Like
miles and miles and miles and miles. And that's just before noon.
Yeah. And I don't think she really, really got it until she
had blisters on her feet.
But we were in Wynwood and then I said, hey, so let's get some food. She's like, yeah, let's get some food. I said, well, the taco trucks are right here,
Right.
She goes, I'm not going to need a taco truck.
Let's get an empanada. Empanada truck's right here.
Yeah. They had the jerk chicken
truck.
Oh, yeah. They had
they
were all there. She's like, I'm not going to eat here standing, eating this. I'm like, okay, well, anywhere you want to sit down, we're walking first. So I know your feet are already tired. We're going to have to walk far away so we can find somewhere to sit. And then we might have to wait. We might have to wait when we get there. She's like, fine, let's go. So we started looking up what was close by. Nothing was closer than like a half a mile walk.
Right.
And we get there and, it's a 2-hour wait. You want Chinese food? Sure, it's a 2-hour wait.
Right.
Okay. Next.
Yep.
We go to another spot, some sushi spot. It's closed. On the app, it says it's open.
Right.
But in reality, it's closed.
Yeah.
All right. Next spot. So anyways, she was getting really frustrated.
Right.
And we kept walking.
But here's the deal. I think, the silver lining in this perhaps might be that you've got a really good idea for a Christmas present for her this year.
Oh, no. What's that?
Some great walking shoes.
There you go. I do.
You're
right. So anyways, we finally found a restaurant, ate, whatever. But yeah, that's for sure one of the things that would not have been the same if I'd have been alone. I would have just eaten anywhere, like I'll be happy to eat on a taco truck any day.
I think, the reality is that, in terms of from a budgetary perspective, right? Yeah. That money would have gotten spent. It just would have it would have been spent in a different line item.
Probably.
Right.
Probably.
So, take it out of the Corona line item
right.
and put it up to, dining, fine dining.
Fine dining, And, the other thing, too, is, like, there's so much to do. So we basically did one thing a day is basically what we did, right? Because, like, we went to the Scope, show, and that was literally across the street on the beach from us. So, like, we just did that one day. We were there for a few hours or whatever. Because then if you want to go somewhere else, then it's a whole other hike. And so we just did one fair a day, probably, I guess, 2-3 fairs we did. And then we did Wynwood one day. And it's not enough. There's too much, There's not enough. Not enough time. It was hella fun, I think.
Yeah, I showed up Thursday morning. I had a bit of a drama getting there because I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh, that's right.
Right. So my wife and I had coordinated my travel because we thought, well, why spend the money? We'll just use some like points or whatever, right?
Yeah,
and,
some
she
miles.
handles all that shit, right?
Yeah,
so we go back and forth. We're texting back and forth. She's like, well, you can fly out this time, you can fly out that time. I'm like, well, all I care about is a direct flight. from LA to Miami.
Which, by the way, is smart
Right?
because we didn't do direct.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's like, well, the only way you can do that, because I was planning late in the game, so all the best flights were booked, obviously. Right. She's like, well, you can do that, but you have to fly red eye. I'm like, no problem. Happy to fly red eye as long as I can fly direct, whatever. She's like, done. So she books the ticket, right?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I want to get there. Ideally, I want to get there Thursday morning.
Yeah.
The red eye Wednesday night.
Sure.
She's like, done. Gets the ticket, sends it to me. I don't know about you, but, I'm a busy guy. I don't always keep track. When something's done, it's done.
Yeah.
It's like the ticket's booked. I don't necessarily micromanage. I'm not a micromanager. I trust that people are making, good decisions and whatever, right? So I get the email and I look at it quickly. It's like, oh yeah, your flight's, 12:05 a.m. Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. Great. Red eye Wednesday night. Yeah. So Wednesday morning comes up. I'm like, I got to check in for my flight. Go on there. American Airlines, ticket not found.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
What the hell? So I call.
Yeah.
They're like, well, sir, you missed your flight.
Yeah.
Come again?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, your flight was Wednesday morning at 12:05 a.m.
Yeah. Which means Tuesday night for you.
Which is in
your world.
Twisted way of thinking.
Yeah.
I would have thought of that as Tuesday night.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So here I am now, Wednesday morning.
Yeah. With
no flight to Miami. Missed it like a fucking pro, And
Hey, but you know what?
Yeah.
At least you use those miles.
Right. So, yeah, don't even get me started on that shit, okay? Because there's a whole thing I have about that. I'm like, you know what? Let me just fucking book my fucking flight. Whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I want to hear about that.
So I get on the phone with American. They're like, well, all the flights are booked and this, that, and the other. I'm like, well, how about tomorrow night? How about this? How about that? He's like, well, actually, we can still get you there tomorrow morning. It turns out there is a flight tonight, but it is a connecting flight through Indianapolis, Indiana. Right. Which, I'm from Indiana. I've been to Indianapolis many times in my life.
Right.
In December.
Yeah. Your favorite airport, probably.
Oh, and I'm just like, that's the last place I want to, but I'm like, you know what? I screwed myself.
Yeah.
I've got to take the risk.
You got to do it.
Right. So I managed to get on that flight, get to Indianapolis. The gods were smiling because the weather wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
We got connected. I got to Miami that morning on schedule. Got my Uber I stayed at a little Airbnb in Little Havana.
Nice.
Right. And dude, I just have to say, for me, one of the highlights of the whole trip was staying in Little Havana.
Right.
It was just so delightful and charming and entrancing. Just obviously the cultural authenticity of the experience was just off the charts, right?
Absolutely.
And so I got in there Thursday morning, got to my place, got settled. My artist friend, Link Thalen from Chicago, he and his wife were in town because he was showing at Scope.
Mm.
And so I met up with them later that afternoon, walked Scope, went to dinner, had the whole thing, right? That night, and got a taste of the scope and scale of this fucking thing.
Right.
I mean, it was just like, wow, this is one show and this is a lot, So Thursday night was cool. We had a nice dinner, whatever. I wake up Friday morning in Little Havana and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go for some breakfast, get some coffee, enjoy my morning. Right. So I go the weather is like fucking dead nuts perfect.
It was perfect. It was beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And, Little Havana is just waking up that morning, it's fairly, it's, I don't know what time, 9 o'clock, whatever it was. So I go get me a Cuban coffee. I'm like walking, I'm starting to smell the smoke, the smell of cigar smoke and, just like the music starting to play. I mean, dude, I was so happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, because I was like, it was just a perfect morning. I just love traveling to new places.
Right.
I was traveling alone for the first time in a long time, which, being married with 2 kids is now the exception rather than the rule. And I used to travel solo as a rule.
Yeah.
So it was nice to kind of get back to my roots a little bit. No responsibility, no, liability, no extra baggage, as they say.
Right.
And I don't mean that in a pejorative sense.
Yeah.
Or do I?
I don't know.
And so I'm walking the streets of Little Havana. I'm just having, and it's just like, oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like just wonderful. And in fact, I was just like, I was taking photos. Like, it was just like all the stuff. And then like I came around, I was like walking, and there was this great mural. And in fact, one of the reasons why I was in such a good mood is one of the best art experiences I had in Miami while I was at Art Basel was discovering a gallery in Little Havana that specialized in important Cuban artists, both, you know, kind of old masters who've since died, but then they were preparing for a new contemporary show of living artists, and it was just a really cool guy. They were kind of still under construction, but it was just wonderful.
Awesome.
So anyway, I'm walking around. I see this mural. I'm like, I get to get a photo of that. I pull my phone out, and I guess I had drank too much Cuban coffee because my phone just like flies out of my hand. Right? Now, you know how like when you drop your phone and you expect that you're gonna, you know, break the screen or whatever, or, you know, whatever, and it usually lands flat or something, you know, like on the concrete or whatever. My phone didn't do that. It sort of jumped out of my hands, and then it landed on the ledge. Like, it just like the edge of my phone hit the ledge of this window and then just sort of fell on the ground. Yeah. Right. And I have a case on my phone too. Right.
So you're like, oh, cool. And
I'm like,
happened.
oh, thank goodness.
Thank God it didn't fall on its face.
I got my case.
Yeah.
It landed in that. It didn't really hit too hard. Like, I get my phone. I pull it up. Dude.
Dead.
I can't even describe to you. It will, first of all, from an artistic standpoint, it looked fucking awesome because they had like all these lines, like these colored lines and shit going through there. It was like digital art of some kind.
Right.
But clearly, the reality of the situation was like, oh, that does not look good.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be like that.
Right. So the screen wasn't shattered.
No, the screen was perfectly fine.
It was just
these colored lines. Shoot, now, of course, when I see that it's not shattered, I see that, okay, I'll reboot it.
Reboot it, yeah.
No go. And not only, then I'm thinking, well, okay, it looks like hell, but it didn't break. I mean, like, maybe it still works. Dude, deader than a doornail. Like, this thing I can't even unlock it.
Jesus.
Okay, now think about this, right? I'm in Miami.
Yeah.
I'm traveling. Okay. Remember, I said I Ubered from the airports. I have not rented a car.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I've got to I'm in Little Havana. I got to get in. And I was going to get to, you know, the art show.
Right.
Which meant I had to call an Uber.
Right.
Now I don't have. Now I need to go to the Apple store. I still have to call an Uber. I can't use my phone. And you use your. I didn't take my computer. So, you know, on your, because you're going to research, you know, your phone is everything these days, right? Like, I can't even research where the nearest Apple store is, and I have AT&T, so I'm thinking, well, maybe there's an AT&T store. Like, the sense of loss and despair, like, where you feel like your legs have been cut off. You know what I mean? You're like, literally, where do I go? What do I do right now?
Wow. What
do I do? Because I literally can't call an Uber. I can't call anyone.
Yeah.
I can't call you to tell you not to call me.
Right.
Like, you know, and so I'm like, okay, just, you know, breathe, think about it, whatever. And I'm like, well, I guess I need to try to I bet there's an AT&T store closer to where I'm staying than an Apple store.
Yeah.
That just seemed to make sense, right? So I'm walking down the street and I see a meter, like a lady, meter guy, whatever, meter maid, whatever. And except this maid is a dude, and I'm like, excuse me, sir. I show him, this happened. I said, this just happened, and I show him my phone, and he's like, oh my God. I'm like, do you by any chance know of an AT&T store around here? And he's like, oh yeah, there's just one. It's about a 15-minute walk up the street here.
Cool.
I was like, oh, that's great news. Thank you so much. He's like, man, I'm really sorry. He's like, I've never seen anything like that. I'm like, neither have I. And I've seen a lot, but I've never seen this.
That's cool.
So then I turned to go walk to the AT&T store. Then, of course, I realized I don't have my fucking wallet.
Oh, shit.
Because I left it back at the place, right? I just put a little cash in my pocket.
How far are you from your place where you're staying?
Well, I'm not like a 10-minute walk. I'm not but like I'm just so disoriented.
Yeah.
Right? It takes a minute.
Oh, right.
It just takes a minute to sort out like what is the best course of action here?
And usually you would probably like even map your way back to your place or something. Like you wouldn't have just you're probably paying attention to what street
I was just like okay now where was I, you know, like, so I'm I'm like, you know what, Power, I'm like, let's scratch it, I'm like, you know what, Sourdough,
there you go.
Well, you just got to go home and you just got to regroup. Then it dawned on me as I'm walking back that I did bring my iPad.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But of course, I don't use my iPad for Uber or anything like that, but at least I
Right.
can like use it for research or whatever.
Right.
So I get back, I pull on my iPad, and what was interesting was that, yeah, the AT&T store was, maybe a mile down the street, but there happened to be an Apple store a mile and a half down the other opposite direction
Oh, wow.
in a mall,
Hmm.
right, in Brickell, the Brickell Center, Bricknell, I think is what it is, Bricknell. Anyway, I'm like, okay, now how am I going to get there? Because, a mile and a half doesn't sound far, but,
Yeah, when you're
you're
walking.
not going to.
Right.
So I managed to download the Uber app onto my iPad and was able to get into my account, and I was actually able to order an Uber
Oh, cool.
via my iPad, which,
Right.
was kind of cool. I never did that before. I was like, all right, works. I guess it should. I don't, I'm just.
It's
never
kind of
thought-
funny when the Uber guy pulls up and you have a big giant iPad.
Well, exactly. I'm like, I'm taking photos with it too. You always see people taking photos of
Yeah.
the iPad. You're like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, so I decide,
man.
but now, like, I'm having a plan now, right? Because I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, I got to go buy a new phone. Like, I can't imagine,
Yeah.
suddenly now I'm out, what, several $100s, maybe $1,000 buying a new. I mean, my
Yeah.
phone was iPhone X. I paid damn near $1,000 for it. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, but now I'm going to be out. Little Havana is not the most convenient thing. So I'm like, you know what?
Right.
I just need to like get ready to be gone for the day. Right.
Yeah.
So I shower, I get cleaned up, I get my stuff together. I call the Uber. They get me into the car over to the Apple store.
Yeah.
And you know how we were talking earlier about the thick people watching or the the thick people watching, whatever. This mall was a testament to, people watching in Miami and,
Oh, yeah.
and the beautiful, very sort of
The culture down there.
culture, all about culture,
Art and culture down
art
there.
and culture. And so I walk in this mall, I'm like, okay, Miami has a lot of culture. It's thick with culture.
Super thick.
It's so I'm like, oh, this is really interesting mall, what have you. So I find the Apple store, and it's, of course, just packed,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And-
yeah, that's right.
It's packed.
And you don't have an appointment.
I don't have an appointment. I'm just a walk-in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I walk in, and the guy, I wait in line to like even talk to the guy. And he's like, well, finally, like, hello, sir, can I help you? And I'm like, and I just show him my phone. I don't even say
You don't
anything.
even speak anymore.
I just hold my
You
phone
just
up.
just like show.
And I point at
show
it.
and tell.
Like,
Yeah.
I think I'm here to buy a new phone. What
Yeah.
do you think?
Yeah.
He's like, well, sir, we need to put you in the queue, and, it'll be, probably 20 minutes before we're able to, talk to you, whatever.
Right.
I'm like, fine, no problem. So I get in the queue. I'm like standing around. Now, sidebar.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, have you spent much time in some of the new Apple stores, like the new designs?
Yeah, I was just there a couple weeks ago.
Okay, I don't know about you, but like this was one of my first times, like extended stays,
Okay.
right, in the store, right?
Yeah.
So I got to like watch,
Watching.
and
Yeah.
like observe. And I don't know about you, but like I actually would argue that the new Apple Store design is a very poor design because it is about form over function. And it is absolutely gorgeous to look at, but when you observe what it's like to work there
Yeah.
and be serviced there by an employee, like the flow
Yeah.
is horrendous. There's not a Genius Bar anymore. You used to
Right.
go to Genius Bar. There was like some bifurcation between like, oh, I'm here to shop, and oh,
Yeah.
I'm here to like get some tech support,
Right.
and not anymore.
No.
Right? It's all merged into one. It's this big open space, and the flow. I was feeling bad for the employees. Like there's not a place to like go and just,
Yeah.
so anyway, I'm sitting there going, wow, Apple's yet again another example of how Apple is slipping. Right?
Well, you know what? Just to jump on that
Yeah.
real quick, the last time I was there, I went up to somebody, was like, "Hey, I need help with I want to order this iPad thing, whatever," and they were like, "Oh yeah, you got to go talk to that person over there. They do sales. I'm just doing."
Exactly.
And I'm like, then why don't? How am I supposed to know as a customer?
Yeah.
How do I know
Right.
who to talk to? You guys all look the same to me.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. Before it was kind of clear cut who you want to talk to.
That's
and,
right. It was more of a flow to
Yeah, it was
it.
a flow. It's not a flow. There's no flow now. It's just like all kinds of shit happening at the same time.
It's a clusterfuck.
It's a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
I agree totally.
So I'm sitting in there and I'm watching all this, whatever. And they took my phone number, but they couldn't have texted me because my phone wasn't working. So anyway, so I stayed close, and then eventually they call my name or whatever it was, and so I go over there, and this nice young woman comes over, and she's like, what can I do for you, Mr. Power? And again, I don't say anything. I just hold up my phone. I point at it.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm here to buy a new phone. What do you say? What do you think?
Yeah.
And then she said something that completely took me by surprise and was not even on my mind whatsoever. It was like the last thing I expected to hear, which was, well, is it still under warranty?
Mm.
And I said,
yeah,
good question.
Yeah. Let's check.
Well, first of all, do I even have a warranty? Did I buy the warranty?
Right.
I don't remember because sometimes you don't get the warranty, right?
That's true. Well, you get an automatic 1-year warranty from Apple.
Okay. Well, but yes, and I wasn't even thinking about that, but I just know myself. Yeah. And if this story thus far has proven anything, it's proven I ain't so bright. So 9 times out, I'd say it's probably 50% of the time I buy it, 50% of the time I don't buy it. You know what I mean? Right. So but I wasn't even thinking that it was like a sure thing, right? So anyway,
right.
So she's like, "Is it still under warranty?" I'm like, "I have no idea." Like She said, "Well, here, let me check." Well, good news, Mr. Power. Right. It's still under warranty.
Yeah.
And I was like,
awesome.
Oh my God. Like suddenly I went from zero to hero. Like I was feeling like so good about life after feelings. I was feeling good.
Yeah.
Actually in the day I started feeling great.
Yeah.
Then I felt horrible.
Yeah. Now
I'm starting to feel good again.
Good.
Right. And then things got a little bit even better because, we're like talking and stuff. And I'm like, well, so I guess I get a new phone. Like, she's like, no. She's like, we can fix it.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, you can fix it? And I'm like, well, but what am I going to do? Like, I need a phone. Like, I'm here for no. So it just takes an hour. Mm. I'm like, amazing. Will you marry me? And then she reminded me that I'm already married. And so sure shit, they take the phone, and it was longer than an hour. It was, damn near 2 hours. But
yeah, I'm
not going to complain.
No.
Because 2 hours later, I had a brand new screen and my phone. Everything was like working perfectly.
Nice.
Right? And then, of course, during those 2 hours, I was able to walk the mall and do some fabulous cultural observations.
Window shopping.
I was playing anthropologist, sociologist.
Yeah.
Observing the local wildlife there at the lingerie department. So I got my phone. It was amazing. And I think during this whole time, you and I are texting.
Yeah, because you texted me. You're like, I'm on my iPad.
Right.
So don't try to text me.
Right.
But this is what's going on.
Right. And then by the time all of that was done, I was like, well, because you were at Scope, or that was the day you were at Scope.
Oh,
and
it was? Okay.
Yeah. And I was thinking and you had done the Telemundo interview.
Okay.
And I said to myself, well, I've done Scope and whatever. I'll go to Art Basel.
Right.
Right. And so I ended up going to Art Basel, and I don't think we saw each other that night.
No, we didn't.
And then we ended up hooking up on, well, I don't even know when we actually finally saw each other because it was just so packed. Well, it was Saturday night at Wynwood.
At Wynwood,
right.
Yeah.
So how bananas was Wynwood Saturday night?
Unbelievable. I mean, so I ended up at watching, Puma did a thing they had the Art Basel, I forgot what the hell they called it, but Puma had an event. Do you remember this?
Yeah, you're talking about the one with the big sound stage and the DJs. Yeah.
What was that area called? It was called like the Walls.
I don't know what it was. I mean, it
was like a mural festival or something. It was like
it was Basel House, wasn't it?
Basel House.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
You're right. That's what it was. It's called Basel House.
Right.
All right. So I ended up there, and the Puma had a big show, right? The big stage and everything, and they had let's see who performed. It was Yo Gotti and
love Yo Gotti. Wait, who's Yo Gotti?
And A Boogie.
Dude. So dope.
So it's so funny because there's like a line to get in, right? And I'm not going to stand in line, especially when you don't need to, because even if you're not in line, you can still watch the concert.
And by the way, as I recall, if I'm tracking you, Laura's feet are not doing well.
She's not doing well.
All right, so you're not standing in line with the throbbing feet.
Yeah, so the wifey's not having a good time because her feet are hurting and everything. But, we're like chilling there. We're like, okay, let's check out this concert. And it's funny, right? Because I don't know who A Boogie is. A
You
Boogie,
don't?
A
Dude,
Boogie,
come on.
A Boogie with the hoodie.
Wow.
I don't know who Yo Gotti is. You know, like
You're,
like I know that when
boy,
I
are
hear
you relevant.
I know that when I hear the songs, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I know that song. Right?
Right.
I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I hear that like
Yeah.
a million times on
Yeah.
the radio.
Right.
Right? I know I'm gonna say that, but I can't just top of my head tell you who they are. But it's like, all right, it's a concert, it's cool. So we chill at the concert, see it, whatever. It's so funny because, yeah, it was fun. It was a fun time, whatever. And before it started raining, like at some point,
Yeah.
and they kind of, I guess it was A Boogie, like was doing his set, and then it started raining, so they like cut his set short, and like, everyone ran because it was pouring.
Yeah.
But then it stopped, and everyone came back. DJ came back on stage. It was one of those things, right? It's gonna rain on and off in Miami, anyways. But so we saw like part of the concert, left, walked around, came back, watched the other part of the concert. What was funny is later on when I get home, right? Fast forward to when I get home, and my daughter, she's 18, right? And so
Now she's relevant.
So I'm like, yeah, we were at this concert, whatever, in Miami. She's like, oh yeah, who was in concert? I said, A Boogie. She's like, who's A Boogie? And I go, I don't know. That's what she goes, I know this. I just know this guy, A Boogie with the hoodie. I go, well, yeah, that's him. They just call him A Boogie. She goes, oh yeah, you saw A Boogie? And I was like, yeah. And Yo Gotti, what? You saw Yo Gotti? And my daughter's like totally pissed.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, we didn't even stay. We just left. Yeah, we didn't even watch the whole thing.
She's ready to disown you at this point.
And she's like, I can't believe you guys didn't invite me, and I can't believe I didn't see them, and I'm like, whatever. So that's how funny it was. Is that like when the songs came on, I'm like, oh yeah, I heard that song, whatever. But I'm not into that new school stuff. It's good, I guess, in the moment, whatever. But what was funny?
It
about
all sounds the same.
It all sounds the same to me. But what's funny to me is watching the people in the crowd.
Sure.
That's the best part, I think, because so there was this two women right next to us, like 10 feet away from us. There was two women with 3 kids. Okay. Now, the youngest kid was probably like 2 years old, and the oldest kid was probably like 11 years old, and the other one's in the middle somewhere.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So it's 2 women, 3 kids.
One of which is 2.
And the little 11-year-old kid, I mean, he's getting down. First of all, he knows all the lyrics of everything. He's singing along to every single jam going on, right?
Yeah.
Especially the more vulgar, the more he knew about it, right? And I was like, cool. And he's doing his dance. I mean, he's doing all the dances. He's like he's nailing every dance.
Yeah.
Like he's 11-year-old kid, like
He's got the moves.
He's got the moves. So all of a sudden, one of the women that's with them, the younger looking woman, there was probably one in her mid 30s, late 30s, early 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other woman was probably late 20s, early 30s. So I don't know who those women are to those kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if they're older sisters, mothers, grandmothers. I don't know. All I know is that the younger of the 2 women starts twerking on the little kid that's dancing.
That's genius.
She starts twerking on him.
Dude, that's like seeing a white tiger. Like what you just saw was so rare. Like it was like a natural wonder, or like one of the natural wonders of the world you just saw there. Wait, so the mother, as far as you could tell, the mother was twerking
with her son. Now, I'm assuming it's her. It's the kid's mother, right? It could be the older sister. It could be the aunt. I don't know. But any of those scenarios, it's fucking wrong. Any of those scenarios is wrong.
There's no scenario.
There's no
that
scenario
makes
there.
that right.
And the little kid is like, he just keeps doing it. He just keeps dancing. He's into it. But the woman is twerking on him. And so I'm like nudging my wife, like, check this out. She goes, I'm trying not to look at that. I saw already what's going on, and I don't want to see it. I go, yeah, but it's incredible what's going on here. I never thought this would happen. Like perfectly grown woman twerking on an 11-year-old boy. And she's like, I think it's his mom. I go, I kind of hope it's his mom.
That's the only scenario that makes it a little less horrendous,
Yeah, and I'm like,
I think. I
See,
don't know.
That's my point. Like, would it be better if it was like a totally a stranger or an aunt? I don't know. So, anyways, it was just a weird situation. So
but that's really truly a unique, one of a kind kind of eyewitness account.
So here's where it gets weirder. It does get
It
weirder.
does get me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the woman grabs the 2-year-old little girl and tries to make her start twerking too. Tries to teach her how to twerk.
Well, isn't that what the billboard says? A family that twerks together stays together.
Oh man, I was like, what is going on? And the little girl starts crying.
See, okay.
The little girl starts crying. Like even the 2-year-old girl knows
Right.
this is not right.
The best part of this story, I have to say,
Yeah.
is that it's probably not what you intended, but I spend so much time stressing about being like a shitty parent,
Yeah.
right? That when I hear a story like this, I'm like, well, maybe I'm not as shitty as I think.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it has given me a whole new approach to parenting that I
Right.
haven't yet tried. I mean, I think, because we have family dance parties here at the house.
Right. Right.
And, I don't know, maybe I should.
Well, you see, you think you're liberal until you find out.
Clearly, I'm very uptight.
You're conservative, bro. You're very conservative, it sounds like.
So this went on. I mean, so this was like a family affair at this fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
And how were they dressed? Were they scantily clad?
No, they weren't. Luckily, they weren't scantily dressed.
Right, okay.
They were wearing like normal
Because I saw a lot of women in Miami that dress like Texas, wide open spaces.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. That was true. And the funny part is the Yo Gotti segment of the concert
love that guy. So dope.
started with everyone raise your hand and your middle finger in the air and say "fuck you," and so everyone's like
Fuck
raising
you.
the middle finger at
Fuck
the air
you,
and
right.
saying
Yeah,
to fuck off
yeah,
and everything.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
that part
It's cathartic.
lasted a good 8 minutes.
Right. Well, it's cathartic. It's therapeutic.
And I'm looking at the mother with the kids, and everyone's raising their fingers. I'm like, that's awesome. This is just. So,
Wow.
anyways, but what was kind of funny though is I don't know how big these guys are, whatever. I guess they're known rappers or whatever, but it's really about like all the people that were even into it, like the rest of the crowd, they were into it, but like for like short chunks of it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It was weird because there'd be a song where everyone would go crazy and everyone would bring out their phones and everyone's dancing and everyone's, and then there'd be other parts where everyone's just standing there.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird because I remember when I saw certain people in concert, like you went crazy the whole time. Like if they were your favorite musician, you just were going crazy the whole time.
Right. But then again, you weren't high on Oxycontin.
That's true.
I think a lot of these people are just so fucking stoned. Like,
Well, and also I think it's just like the sad part is this. It's all like social media, right? So it's really about that moment and capturing that moment, like on your phone, and whatever the hype was at that moment.
yeah.
It's not really about the overall 2-hour
Shit is
experience.
so disposable now, man.
Oh.
I mean, it's just so like there's no. I mean, back in the day, right? There was like almost like almost like these were sacred moments that
Yeah.
you saved the ticket stubs and you
Right.
these were milestones in your life.
Yeah.
Right. These cultural events, whether it's your first concert or your whatever it was. Like
Right.
now, it's just I don't know the culture of music, art, whatever. Like there's so much of it.
Right.
It just becomes not that special anymore.
Told you this earlier, but on the stage, behind the musicians, behind the DJ,
Yeah.
there's like a 30-second or 1-minute loop of a Puma commercial.
Mm.
It's basically like the new shoe that they dropped for Art Basel for Miami,
Right.
and the Miami colorways, and
Right.
and like they just keep showing the shoe over and over and over. Now, Puma just looped this. I mean, it was just that was it. That was the only thing on the screen for like 2 hours, right? And that's exactly the point you're making. Is that it's kind of like Puma wanted to make sure that no matter when people took their selfie in front of the stage, their shoe, their product was on the screen.
Sure.
Because if you were at another concert sponsored by another company, whenever, back in the day, even 10 years ago, stuff on the screen, on the big screen behind the DJ or behind the thing, you'd have videos, you would have certain images come up to certain songs. And it's an experience, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like from start to finish.
Yeah.
And now it's not that at all. Now it's just this little 30-second tiny commercial that they want you to capture.
Sure.
And that's all that these brands care about. And it's kind of sad, but it kind of messes up the whole experience, I think. But these kids don't know any better. They don't.
Yeah.
That's the life they're living. It's just super fast.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's kind of shitty.
So we saw each other in Wynwood that night.
Yeah.
And I mean, place was fucking bananas. I mean, there was party after party after party after party after party after party. I mean, like it just went on and on and on and on, right?
Yep.
And dude, okay, so you and I got separated at some point, right?
Right.
And we were texting back and forth, and my phone was like about dead. I had like 2 or 3 bars left or percentages left, whatever. Right. And you were at the Secret Walls party, or had just arrived at you were heading there or going there,
Secret
whatever.
Walls party, yeah.
And my hope and my intent was to meet you there, right? And while I was walking over there trying to find it, because it's so hard to find. I mean, everything is so, like, it's just so crazy over there. It's hard to find shit.
Yep.
That what I realized was that I probably had to make what they call this adulting, I guess. I've heard.
You heard.
But I had to I guess, adult and make the hard choice. It's like, well, wait a minute. If I go to this party, my phone's dead, and I won't be able to Uber. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get home, because what people need to understand is that area was so densely packed,
incredible,
with people, that there was not getting it. You weren't getting a cab. You weren't getting unless you had an Uber to call.
Well, number one, cell service sucked.
Well, this is what. Hold on. So this is what I'm getting at, right? Because, and I'm so glad because then I started looking and I realized that there was no service.
Yeah.
Like with the 2 or 3% that I had left.
Yeah.
I couldn't even call an Uber because Uber was so overwhelmed.
Right.
You couldn't even get a signal. So what I did now, so yes, I made the choice to be like, well, I gotta like just go figure out how to go home.
Mm-hmm.
You know how far I walked before I got a signal to even call Uber?
Oh, yeah.
Like 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
2.5 miles.
Yeah.
Just to get a signal to call Uber. Now, how many drive-by shootings I avoided between here and there, I'll never know. Okay.
Right.
But it was definitely an adventure walking to work, because this was, I don't know where the fuck I'm at, and that's like kind of a dark area. It's not very there's not a lot of street lights. It's like and so I get to where I'm at to like call, and there's this dude that's standing there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just standing there, and he's like looking at me, and I like call my Uber, and he's like, "Yo, like, hey, what's up?" He's like, "You calling Uber?"
What?
Yeah. And I go, yeah. I go, what's up? He's like, "Man, I need to ride out of here." I was like, I gotta. And he's stuck.
He's stuck.
Right? And he's like, dude, he's like, I'm like, don't even worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So this guy JT, who was originally from Detroit by way of San Francisco, found himself in Miami, right, for a minute. He wants to get back to Northern California, and he and I end up like riding in this Uber because we were both so stranded. Like, super nice guy. I'll never see him again. Whatever. Maybe I saved his life. I don't know. You're welcome. But it was like I had to walk 2.5 miles just to get a signal, because what people don't understand was Wynwood was bananas that night.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, see, I have a story too for that night with this shit. So we're at the Secret Walls event at the end of the night. We got the tail end of it. Super fun time. Running into people that I hadn't seen in years, running into artists, and it was cool. We had a good time. So it's over, and so I tell my wife, "All right, let's get out of here." And I I ask someone like, "What's up?" They're like, "Dude, they told me you got to walk at least like 5 blocks away from Wynwood." At least 5 blocks away, just to get a signal, just to get an Uber to come pick you up, because they're not going to come into Wynwood. They're just not going to come. Actually, the bouncer told me that, and I'm like, all right. So I asked someone else. They tell me the same thing. I'm like, all right. So by this time of the night, my wife's feet are like killing her. She's like blisters, and she's like, I don't want to walk. I said,
she's motherfucking you too. She's like, God damn it.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, we got to do something. We got to get out of here. I said, we're going to have to walk. Right. She's like, all right. So they tell me like more or less where to walk, what direction, how far to go.
Right.
So, unlike you, my phone is fully charged.
Good man. Smart.
Because, well, not that I'm smart, but, I'm with my wife.
That makes you smarter.
So she obviously has, a phone charger with her.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
By the way, my wife does too.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
So she has it in her purse. And so she's charging both our phones all night.
She's 7 charges. Nurturing.
7 charges is worth that thing, So there you go. So
Wow.
at least I have
Yeah.
bars.
Yeah.
So, but we start walking. So we go down other side of the freeway. I don't know where we're at, but we're just keep going down, and we finally get to a spot where it looks like okay, people. Because I mean, like you said, it was bananas, and it was just
Bananas.
anyone who had a car within Wynwood wasn't even moving. The cars were just like
Yeah, no.
in traffic.
Total gridlock.
Yeah, it was faster to walk than get in a car.
Sure.
So we finally get to a situation where it looks like there's less traffic. Looks like we're like 6-7 blocks away, a mile away or whatever it is. So and I see other people getting Ubers, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do it here. So called for our Lyft or whatever, and we're in this like parking lot of like a fried chicken spot, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only place on that corner where you could probably like drive in because everything else like there's just the traffic is going and there's nowhere to pull over. So we're like, cool, we'll wait in this giant parking lot.
Sure.
That way the Lyft could come.
Yeah.
So it says, oh, your Lyft is here. I look, I don't see the Lyft. I'm like, where the hell's the Lyft? We look down the street and our fucking Lyft is stopped with hazards on in the right lane and everyone's flipping her off. And, and I could see that's
your Lyft.
Because I call.
Yeah.
And she's like, where are you guys? I'm like, we're in the giant parking lot where there's no cars.
Yeah.
And I go, is that you over there with the hazard? She goes, yeah. Okay, I'll get over to you guys. And there's no way she's gonna be able to come back to us.
She's an idiot.
She's an idiot. And I'm like, shit. So now we got a Lyft from an idiot.
Oh, in the worst traffic.
So I say, you know what? Just stay there.
Yeah.
We can see you.
We'll come to you.
Yeah. We've been walking already for like half an hour.
Right.
Right. So my wife's like pissed, like, make her come over. I go, no, she's gonna get lost or something. We're gonna lose our Lyft, So she's pissed because now we got to walk another, block or whatever.
Yeah. Her dogs are barking.
Yeah. So we get there. Finally, we get in the car. Okay. Boom. All right. And at this point, it's like, I don't know. It's like 12:30 at night or something. Yeah. And we're going back.
Early for some people.
Yeah. Very early for most people there. But, my wife's like, we're done.
Yeah.
We're going back to the hotel. Right. We're going back to the beach.
Right.
Cool. I'm like, I don't care. So I'm like, all right, we're going to chill in the car. Right. Whatever. We're 30 minutes away. Whatever. What does this Lyft driver do? I don't know what the hell she's thinking. She drives into Wynwood. She goes back and into Wynwood.
I don't even understand that.
That's what I'm saying. And she starts looking around and she's like, oh, I got another pickup to do. And they're in Wynwood.
You're fucking kidding me.
I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, and then she looks back and she goes, what's going on here tonight? Why is everyone out?
She doesn't even know what's going on in terms of the event.
She doesn't even know that Wynwood is like cracking and that
during
it's
our
Art
Basel. Oh my God.
And that there's a concert going on.
Fucking
and
idiot.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So she's like, okay, I got to go meet this person.
Was she vaping during this too, by any chance? I was just curious.
I don't know what she's doing, but here's the thing. So she was trying to get back to this fucking her next ride or whatever, and she's not going to get there. She finally realized she's not going to get there, so she says, I'm going to cancel her and I'm just going to take you guys home. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought you were doing.
She doesn't know how to cancel. She's asking us, do you know how to cancel a ride? And I'm like, you're the fucking Lyft driver.
Oh my God, dude.
So she doesn't know how to cancel it. You know what she does? She turns off the phone. She turns off her phone because it kept ringing saying to go pick up this chick, So anyways, bottom line is we're stuck in the middle of Wynwood where we started the whole fucking thing. And we're not even moving. So I just looked at my wife.
What's that song? Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you. Like, this is fucking horrendous.
So I just look at my wife and I say, you know what? At least we're in a car. We're gonna get to the hotel at some point. Like, there's just
at least you're not on your feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
So an hour and 5 minutes later, we get to our hotel. Almost got hit by a fucking crazy driver on the freeway.
Well, that's exciting.
So when we finally get there, the Lyft driver turns around. She's like, I just want to apologize.
Quit. She's like, I quit.
Yeah. She's like, I hope you guys, weren't too scared back there when we almost got driven off the freeway. I hope you guys, it's okay. I'm like, we're here. Thank you. Let me out.
Just let me go. Either way, no tip and no stars.
Oh, no stars, no nothing. I was just like, I just got here. But it's crazy how, I guess all our stories, right? what would happen there to each of us. It's crazy how it's all around technology.
Dude,
right?
and
it's all about technology.
All about technology. And just, it's all about technology, and it's all about me being a dumbass.
Well, yeah.
Because I didn't even tell you the other story. Well, you know the story, but so you and I and Laura were heading back from your show at the National Hotel.
Right.
Back to your hotel where you were staying on Ocean Avenue we were going to grab dinner with San Juan.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
That's right. Shout out to San Juan.
San Juan. So I order the Uber.
Oh, that's right.
We hop in. It's a Nissan. Well, no, it's an Infinity like SUV kind of thing. Whatever.
Right.
Because we had like stuff, whatever. So anyway, it comes and gets us. We get in.
Yeah.
And we get just around right by your hotel.
Right.
And it's a T intersection. Like the street is going to tee off. And
it's going on.
It's gridlock.
Yeah, of course.
It can't go anywhere. And we say to this guy, we'll just hop out and go to your hotel.
Right.
He's like, okay, no problem. So we hop out.
Right.
We walk, I don't know, 100 feet.
Yeah.
150 feet. And then we hang a left. And your hotel is like basically right on the corner.
Yeah.
The restaurant's in front, which is one of the best restaurants in South Beach. And we have a little chat with the hostess, and then you guys decide you're going to run up to the room, drop off your stuff.
Yeah.
You asked me if I want to go with you. I said, no, I'll just chill down here.
That's right.
And you go up to the room to do your thing.
Yeah.
Right? Now I'm standing, okay, and watching because, of course, as we were saying earlier, it's thick people watching.
Yeah.
Thick people watching. And I'm, standing there enjoying the anthropological and cultural aspects of this thick people watching.
Yep.
And of course, I'm also baffled about why there are so many 25-year-olds driving $350,000 McLarens.
Right.
And I'm like, I really have to deal more cocaine because clearly there's big money in this, or I need to become a rapper.
Right.
Because clearly these guys are doing well.
Yeah.
And then this vintage car pulls up.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just gorgeous. And I think to myself, I'm going to snap a photo of that car. It's so beautiful.
Oh, man.
And then I go to get my phone and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I left my phone in the Uber.
Shit.
Now, how much time had passed?
Yeah.
Right? Since we got out of the Uber and the time I realized it. I don't know. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, at least 10 minutes.
When we came back down, I think it was about 15 minutes later.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it had happened. So about 50. So then minutes before you, 2 minutes before you came out, I'm standing there and I realize, holy shit. After all this bullshit I've gone through my fucking phone, I lose it in the fucking Uber because I'm a fucking moron. Right? I was probably too busy thick people watching.
Yeah.
To pay attention to the
mesmerized. You got mesmerized
by the culture.
Yeah.
That I forgot that the phone was like, on my leg or like whatever, wherever I put it, like, So the story is crazy because
what do you
obviously,
do?
No, well, yes, because here's the thing. Like, obviously, I'm a fucking idiot, but in that moment, in a moment of crisis, I snap to attention.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is life or death right now. Like, I become acutely, keenly sharp of my surroundings. Things come into focus in a way like it's almost like some magical high-tech shit where like the computer kicks on and starts crunching the numbers and the calculus and the algorithms and then boom, it dawns on me, okay, he couldn't have gone far. Traffic's horrible.
Yeah.
It was an Infinity.
Well, even
let's scan the perimeter, you know?
Yeah.
There's an Infinity. That's him. He's like a quarter of a mile down, stopped.
Yeah.
In Ocean Avenue.
On Ocean Drive. Because no one's moving.
He can't go anywhere, but he's like, Corey, he got that far.
Yeah.
And dude, I just take off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how like the sound that your flip flops make when you're running. Flip, 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 flip. That was, whatever. Like that's the sound I was making. People are looking like, what the fuck's that white guy going? You're just like, Rah. And then the Uber driver. The Uber driver's got his window down because, of course, the weather's great. And then, like, I just run up alongside of him, like, hey. And, of course, I scared the shit out of him because he didn't see me coming.
Yeah.
He's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I go, hey. You just dropped me off, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I left my phone in your back seat. And I opened the door, and there it was. Just on the seat.
Dude. Dude, I can't. Okay. Now, when I was saying about technology.
Yeah.
okay, your trip wasn't about technology. Your trip was about you fucking losing your phone and fucking up your phone.
Me being a fucking idiot. Yeah.
You know, I think what you need is, or what Apple needs to make is like this, some kind of attachment that attaches to your phone. You know, like you know those keys that are on this like string.
Yeah.
You know,
right,
so no matter
right.
what happens, the keys always come back to your fucking
That's
belt.
right. That's right.
Dude, that's what you need.
I need that.
You need a fucking.
I need
you
that.
need a fucking iPhone with a string.
It was funny because you guys come back down and I'm like, well, you just missed all the excitement.
Yeah, I'm
and
like,
you're
what?
like, well, what excitement? I was like, tell you the story. Laura's like, you need to chain that phone to your hip. Like, yes, I do.
Oh my god, dude! What a crazy fucking Jesus.
Bizarre, right? So, but here, so the thing about, I mean, right. So the irony about Art Basel for us this year, right, was that is that you and I, we have been involved with that show in various ways, but we had never attended the show, right? So like a few years ago, we got hired by Pantone to produce a mural down there with Marca 27. Shout out Marca.
Yep.
And great mural. It was great project. We didn't go. We've always sort of said, you know, we were going to wait until it made sense to go. I mean, we know that it's a fucking scene down there. We're not going to go like play that bullshit.
Well, every year I get invited.
Every
year it's like, hey, last year was American Express. Another year was fucking Cadillac.
Right.
There's always some client that wants us to go down there, but then at the end of the day, it falls apart.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to pay what we're asking, or something happens, and we're just like, fuck it, we're not gonna go.
Right.
Yeah.
So this year, for various reasons, we went down, and, you know, it was a hell of a trip. I mean, and it was a hell of a trip, a hell of an experience because, you know, you got, well, because it's Miami. And by the way, personally, I love Miami. I think Miami is the sexiest city in the U.S. And I just enjoyed it. I've been there many times, but I've just not been to Art Basel. So, but in terms of like, you know, it's grown. I mean, Art Basel's been going on there, 15, 20 years. And it's only in the last 10 years or so that it has exploded. Now it's Miami Art and Design Week, right? It goes like 7-8 days of like all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And it is too much. It is so much. It might be too much.
Totally.
You're only going to scratch the surface when you go. But I can tell you that it was really interesting to kind of be there and observe and analyze, right? So let me break down a few things for you. Okay. So tell me if you had similar feelings, right? Okay. There's kind of two. I'm going to talk about my assessment of the art. I'm going to talk about just how the experience was for me, right?
This is the big part 2 of this interview.
Yeah.
Or this is a whole new interview. A whole new podcast.
Right.
Because there's so much.
Okay.
I know what you're going to get into.
You know what? You bring up a good point. Let's do this. Let's break this conversation up into 2 episodes. It's a lot. Okay. So we're gonna with that being said, we're gonna wrap up.
Okay.
Brother, it's so good to see you. So great to be podcasting with you again.
Yeah.
You know, we got to stay on this. Let's not, because I'll tell you what, people can't fill your shoes, my friend. It's just not the same sitting across from people that ain't you.
Smaller feet.
That's right. And so I tell you what, let's sign off. Before we do, I want to encourage all of our listeners to please subscribe to this podcast. Please like the episodes. Please comment. Be sure to follow us on all the socials.
Yeah.
And be sure to go to notrealart.com and check out what's happening, what's up and coming, what's new and exciting. And we're going to continue the Art Basel experience in part 2.
That's right.
So we're going to sign off. Over and out, man 1.
Peace.